In this video, I'm going to demonstrate how you can swing the club on the right, in the right pitch. In our book, Swing Like a Pro, Dr. Mann and I talk about how important it is to get the club to go on the correct pitch. And the pitch of the swing can change from backswing to downswing. Most players do that. And it's hard to talk about the pitch without mentioning the path. In the book, we talk about there's no such thing as a swing plane because you don't keep the club on a single plane. That's why these big swing rings that you see typically aren't used when you see them on the range. People that will use some sort of indication of a swing plane will use a board that's about waist high. It's very hard to replicate the path of the club because it changes and moves around, which is an indication of how difficult the swing is. The body's got a lot of different parts and joints, and to keep the club on a single plane is very difficult to do. But anyway, on this video, I'm going to talk about the pitch of the club, and I will reference the path, but mostly the pitch. And in my website, fredgriffingolf.com, I go into a blog post showing Brooks Koepka and a discussion about the pitch of the swing. But anyway, this is a down-the-line view, back view with a 7-iron, an example of typical what happens. So incorrect is on the left and correct is on the right. Okay, so if I remove the stick figure, you'll notice that on the right, the stance is slightly open. You can see the outline of the left leg over here, and over here the stance is closed. That's a typical higher handicap position, the closed stance, which makes it harder to get the hips through on the downswing by doing that. So anyway, we'll go back to kind of the start of the backswing, and you'll see most a typical golfer, in order to try to get the club to come from the inside or hit or draw, they'll intentionally swing, close the stance, and try to swing more from the inside. Well, you'll notice back here in the backswing, it gets the shaft in a flatter position and the stick figure, the model. And then what will happen on the downswing is that'll steepen, and you can see how coming down that steepens, so you can see the path not only changes from an inside to outside, but the pitch of the club goes from a flatter pitch to a steeper pitch. Very, very common thing you see every day on the lesson tee is a flat pitch, vertical pitch. And then if we switch views and go to the other view, you'll see the one on the left over here is the before, and the one on the right is what I want to do. So you can see from here to here how the club goes, releases out. The hips haven't shifted here. The hips have shifted better over here in transition. So you can see that movement, how the hips have shifted. It kept the angle better. I'm not forcing the angle. I'm not driving the elbow into the right side. It's a lot because of how I'm using the right side of the body and moving it towards the target in a linear motion. Oh, there is some turn. Over here you can see how this right side's just going to stay there. It doesn't move, and it's all upper body driven, how the club releases out. So it not only steepens, but it releases. So kind of a strong right side move driven this direction. That's why you're seeing everybody right now talk about force pedals under the front foot to try to get that linear motion from here to here in the downswing to get that over. And then, the main shift now is in rotation after this. But here didn't get the shift over, and you go back to the other view. That's why you'll see back here, the club goes from there to over. And then you look on this side, and the club should point just inside the ball. And then on the downswing, it should go and point, not doing it enough, but it should point actually above the ball. So this one isn't flattening as much as I'd want it to, but it did. You can see it did flatten from the backswing into the downswing. So that's the movement I would want to get in the club to get the pitch to go the right way. So that not only assures the club's going to come from the right path, unlike the one over here on the left that's coming severely from the outside. See, this club's going to come more from the inside, whereas if I take the model off, this is a 7-iron, so it should be between the arms. It shouldn't be on the forearm. A driver gets on the forearm. A wedge would be even more vertical, but your 7-iron would be just above the forearm. And you can see this one's in line. This one's in line with the left arm. So you can see how the shoulders have really opened here in the downswing. So, basically what you're trying to do here is get that club to get in a little pitched vertical position, again, in a mid-backswing position. A good thought would be to have it pointed just inside the ball. In transition, as you go to the top here, you should see the club. The club should make a little bitty fall back in this direction as it goes to the top. When you do it, severely matters. So right here, that club should move back that way. A lot of people refer to it as different things, flattening the shaft, shallowing it. But if you make the movements correctly, you shouldn't have to put a lot of effort in doing that. Some scientists refer to it as inertia. What you're doing is you're not disrupting it from happening. Whereas over here, there's clearly, you can see the movement of the club moving in the other direction, over the top, steepening the pitch, which is going to hit a very vicious pull slice in this situation. And a lot of times you'll see this happening, and then a higher handicapper going to a lower handicapper. Once they do that, they'll start using the hips, and then the club will drop back under. But typically high handicappers, it just stays out like that, and it's over the top rather than it being more from the inside here. So you want to learn to get that pitch of the club right. I'm going to put up a tip, kind of a live video showing some exercises, drills I would use. And then again, if you go to my website, fredgriffingolf.com, there'll be a blog post up talking about how to get the club to go on the right pitch.